Yeah.
Noah Wilson Rich, you were one of the TED talkers that I remember. Like your talk was very outstanding. But thank you so much for making time for the Scale Up Africa podcast.
Thank you so much for having me. It is an honor to be here.
So tell us a little bit about your journey because you have a very interesting career pathway and set of expertise. So tell us a bit more about your journey.
Absolutely. So I grew up, I was born in New York City, right in the middle of the hustle and bustle, the opposite of what I do now with
Mm.
bees.
Hmm.
And when I was playing on rooftops in the city with my cousins, there were amazing playgrounds up in the sky. We would play ball. And I still remember the awe and wonder I'd feel at these big fences that curved in at the top to catch the balls so they wouldn't go flying off the
Over.
buildings.
Yeah, yeah.
And we would wonder, what's on the other rooftops? Do those kids have better ball courts and better playgrounds? What's going on over there? All of the questions that children have.
Mm,
And when I grew up and I realized, no, they don't have better playgrounds. And most of those rooftops are empty and that
mm,
people are not allowed to access them. Combined with growing up and wondering, why do some kids have food to eat and why do others not have enough? And then seeing farms and how food is produced and understanding the whole system, pollination and bees and different crops, and realizing that there's farms on rooftops, but most rooftops are empty. So what's happening here? Why are we
mm.
not making these connections? And with studying biology in school, my father said, "Go become a doctor, Noah. Then we'll talk." And I would say, "Well, father, if I become a doctor, I won't need to talk anymore. I'll have it figured out." So I didn't know what to do in school, and I followed my interests, and that led me to wildlife and biology and nature and bees. So I got a PhD in bees. I maxed out my education, and then I
Mhm.
had to get a job. And I thought, oh no, what have I done? I
Reality
should have gone.
hits. Yes.
Yes, I should have gone to business school. I should have done something that led to a career. But I started a business with no money on Facebook, on social media. I said I'm selling beehives and I'll volunteer my time to manage them in exchange for research funding. So we'll install and manage a beehive at your home garden or your business roof. You keep the honey and we keep the data to measure the health of the bees. And I said, does anybody want some? And so I started that and ran it for 15 years. I just exited the Best Bees Company last year, and we're in 25 cities and raised over $5 million in annual recurring revenue each year and created hundreds of jobs, paying jobs for beekeepers to do this in their own communities. It's been an amazing ride, and we've learned so much, like in that TED Talk, where bees were doing better in cities
In the
versus in the
cities.
countryside. Very
So
surprising.
counterintuitive, very surprising findings. And I think that's what made me remember that talk before we even, had this conversation. So yeah, congratulations on all of that. I mean, I think it's really validating to say that, follow your interest and it will lead you, you'd be surprised where it leads you and you figure it out.
Yes,
Ultimately, if you apply
absolutely.
yourself and talk to the right people to support you, you will figure out a
Yeah.
model that works. And your exit story, tell us a bit more about the exit and how that happened, if you can share.
Yeah, I'm happy to. So thank you for asking. I think another key to so many people around the world is a mindset shift from
Mm,
limitation to abundance.
mhm.
So growing up, I had a single mother, multiple kids, school teacher in New York. And, I say we grew up poor. My mother says, no, we weren't poor. We didn't have resources. I said, okay,
Okay.
that's what makes her comfortable. But when we
Mm.
approach life from a different mindset and thinking, oh, I need money for things. I need money to start a business. I need money to change the world, to make an impact. That's a
It's
limitation.
limiting,
When,
isn't it? Because it's like a
yes,
blocker. It's like
yeah,
it's
yeah,
the biggest blocker disabling you
absolutely.
from actually doing anything, and it's actually
Yeah.
not.
Yeah, and I don't know anybody to ask or to talk to. Instead, if we shift our mindset and we think, I might not know anybody or I might not have things, but I can get them. Look around me. Do those people who have things, are they better than me? Everybody starts from somewhere. And so
Mm.
saying, I'm going to go talk to people. I'll say hello. I'll
Yeah,
start meeting people. I'll start asking them questions.
yeah.
In doing so, you build abundance, not
Mm.
only in your mind, but in terms of reality, because your thoughts over time become your reality.
You
So when
manifest
I was
it.
selling,
Yeah,
you manifest.
yeah.
So for online social media, anybody can start a business now. And if you don't invest money in it, you have nothing to lose,
Right,
you know?
right,
So
right.
it's okay if it doesn't work. But for me, with this one, it did. And so I'd never taken a business class in my life, unfortunately. And I always knew with running this company as a scientist that I was doing my best. But
Yeah.
what if we had a real business person come in? And so we found that person and did a CEO succession plan. And I'm really proud of the person that we chose to run it now as CEO. And now it's led me to start a new company. So the chain continues.
The chain continues, and again, the discipline of lifelong learning and curiosity, and like
Mm.
you didn't go to business school, but you've just exited your company, and you know you've succeeded with a new CEO. You've started a new business. I mean, there isn't one way to do business, right? I think that's really what your story tells us. It's just like there's no single institutional or course that you can do to be successful at business.
Yeah. Yes, I think that knowledge in this point is empowering and helpful, but it's also frustrating because so many people who go to school think there's an answer I need to have. And when we realize, there really isn't a secret to success,
There
it
isn't.
just isn't out there. It can be
Hmm.
very disheartening too to think, oh, where do I find it? It's from within, and it's in our own community.
Hmm.
Consulting your community by asking questions. If you have a business idea, you pitch it to them. What do you
Yes,
think?
yes.
Nobody is going to be more honest with you than your own community, your aunties, your grandparents, everybody. They're going
People
to
in
tell you
your
if it's a good idea
community.
or
Yeah,
not.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So
And
you
I
just
always
start
say, like,
talking to people.
sometimes you need to just shut the laptop and go speak to people.
Absolutely.
Go ask questions, go talk to people. And that's your
Yes.
initial market research at the very basis level, you know.
That's it. I started studying bees in school. After 2 years of reading about them, I had to shut the books. I said,
Yeah.
that's it. I have to go out in the
Let me go
field. I
out
have to
there.
go find a beekeeper and let me be an apprentice. Let me just watch and learn. That's really where all of the fun happened. And I have to say now, as a business mentor to some amazing people in Africa, I mean, it's incredible to see the work that's happening within beekeeping, within honey production in Africa, going across countries. That's just been wild for me now as somebody who's built companies to be able to give back in this way and to learn. It's an amazing cycle of abundance.
Well, I can't wait to have you in Ghana because I know we have various beekeeping associations in various communities and districts. And so I think we know quite a few in our community. I'd love to take you around sometime and meet some folks. But yeah, I mean,
It's a,
in
it's a
terms of
yes.
beehives and just the livelihood element of honey. And honey is just such a magical, mystical thing still. I mean, people just the different flavors and the profiles, and you're a botanist and a biologist, you know about all this, but it's just such a magical thing to just see what nature can create.
Yes, you know who knows about all this is everybody else, because and honeybees go across cultures worldwide. It's such
Mm.
a rare universal language, almost like
Right,
soccer, football.
right,
There's
right.
some things that everybody gets. We might not speak the same language or have anything
But you
else in common,
understand, you
but
feel it, you understand it.
yeah, but
Yeah.
football and honey, are things that in our DNA that
There's some
the
merchandise there
ancestors.
somewhere. There's some merchandise, football and honey, like hashtag
Let's
something.
maybe we should start a business, right?
I,
This is what I'm saying.
this is it.
We're
Yeah.
starting this idea from nothing, but it
Mm,
connects deeply. Humans go back at least 15,000 years with honeybees across
yeah.
the world. I mean, this is an amazing thing that we don't even need the language to know that we feel better from it. I will say that I have run a nonprofit called Urban Bee Lab, and we have a partner in Ghana. There is an amazing resource. It's called the Stingless Bee Research Center. And this is
Stingless.
with
Ah,
stingless. Yeah,
okay.
many people who are afraid of bees,
Of
of
getting
course.
stung.
Yeah, so if we go to Ghana and if you go to other parts of the world, Mexico is another one, there are stingless bees. And so we've been a financial supporter just a little bit with Dr. Peter Kwapong,
Uh-huh.
and he is associated with the University of Cape Coast in
Okay.
Ghana. And
Okay.
Dr. Peter does amazing programs there. There are even some overnight ones now for kids to learn about these stingless bees and understand conservation. It's a uniquely Ghanaian opportunity. So I love this program.
I would love to meet Dr. Kwapong, but yeah, we'll connect afterwards. But yeah, sounds amazing. And so tell us about the new venture that you've started.
Yeah. The Biodiversity Lab is the name, and it is a consulting company. So, whereas most of my career has been bees, I'm now
Yeah.
doing a big pivot to biodiversity. It's
Okay.
it's not that big, but people in the
Yeah.
bee world think, "Oh, wow." Just like we're talking about in Ghana, there's different species of bees. There's actually 20,000 species of bees around the world, and that's 10% of the world's pollinators. Pollinators bring us food. They help plants reproduce. And these plants also take in carbon dioxide and they produce oxygen for us to breathe
Right.
through photosynthesis.
Yeah.
So anybody who eats food and breathes air needs pollinators, needs
Mm.
bees, needs plants. And yet the world is losing most of the
Bee
pollinators.
populations.
Bees are
Yeah.
dying.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
bees are
Yes.
dying at such an alarming rate. There's four main causes for bee die-offs. So there's diseases that are
Mm.
spreading around the world. So similar to how COVID impacted humans, bees are getting their similar COVID. It's
Mm.
really a mite or multiple species of mites that spread diseases
Okay.
all around the world. They're very devastating.
Mm.
There's also habitat loss. So in many
Hmm.
parts of the world, there just are not enough flowering plants. We think about cities. The
Yeah.
impact of spreading native flowering plants is huge. Even
Okay.
if you don't have your own land, we're seeing online social media, people are filling up salt and pepper shakers with seeds of native plants, and they're just sprinkling them around their neighborhoods. San Francisco is a big place that this is happening on skateboards. People are
Okay.
going around and sprinkling, just shaking like a pepper shaker, native plant seeds. And then these flowers just grow and it creates abundance when there wasn't any before.
Oh, I
They're
love
very low
that.
cost.
Yeah.
So, yeah, people who have lawns, turning those to meadows, saving the money,
Hmm.
time, and effort of
Hmm.
mowing or transforming an empty roof to a garden to grow fruits and
Flowers
vegetables
and
for the
vegetables and
families.
stuff. Right.
So habitat loss is hurting the nutrition of bees, that's killing them.
Mm.
And then also we have climate change. So this is
Hmm.
something that makes some flowers bloom too soon or too late when the
Right.
pollinators are not around. So there's a mismatch
Window.
in
Yeah.
timing.
Yeah.
And then lastly, agricultural chemicals. So
Yeah.
these are things
Fertilizers.
designed to kill life.
Yeah.
Exactly. So it's hard to kill some life and not other life. So that has a negative impact. So with the Biodiversity Lab, we do environmental consulting. So we're helping to tell businesses and industries what to do, especially ones that don't have a great environmental record, like data centers. This
Yes.
is
Yes.
a
AI
big
world.
issue.
Yes.
AI, yep. So this type
Yes.
of real estate, any projects that are doing development, we're
Yeah.
advising going in there because the community pushback has been successful to say, no, we don't want these projects because they're bad for the environment and community health. We're getting in there and we're bringing everybody to the table and moving ahead together in really amazing ways. Sports and events and big tech are the other industries that we work with. And then we do contracting. So we'll install pollinator habitat. We'll do programs to give away fruit trees to schools and residents that are
Hmm.
sponsored by the companies,
Hmm.
and reporting and events. So events, we did goats as a way to clear some properties from hazardous plants that can be fire prone. So areas like California, tech companies that want to do an organic approach to reducing the plants that could spread wildfires. We brought goats, and then
Right.
for events, we've done
Uh-huh.
goat yoga. And so there's really fun ways to
Okay.
engage people and
Yeah.
honey tastings around the plant DNA within honey. So you know what Ghana tastes like
Mm.
when we were reading off the different plant species, and then empowering people with what plant lists of things to plant and promote to change the flavor or the terroir of their neighborhood.
I love it, Noah. You have a very interesting life because all these different things and the goat yoga. You got me at goat yoga. I love it.
Yeah, that's the biodiversity beyond just bees alone. Yeah.
Yes, yes. And any activities in sort of forestry, because obviously we're losing massive populations of
Yes.
forests across the world. I mean, it's not, it's a universal issue where, trees are being cut down and like, Accra, for example, has experienced
Oh,
serious rains and flooding because everyone's just paving everything and there are no trees are being cut down. So it
yeah.
increases flooding and we know some places like Singapore, for example, are really trying to cope
Mm,
deal with that by planting more trees and even having
absolutely.
more soil within the cities to absorb
Yeah.
runoff water. What are you seeing around forest trees and deforestation?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, this is a global concern, and
Mm.
we've known about this ever since populations and civilizations were wiped off the map from this. We see amazing places like Easter Island off the coast of Chile, where they have the big statues in South America, but nobody lives there anymore. You think, what
Right.
happened to these people?
Yeah.
Deforestation, when they took all of the trees out to
Mm.
get fish, but they
Hmm.
weren't managing it properly. This could lead to the end, and has led to the end of
Of
civilization,
civilizations. Yeah.
right? So we know this is happening. This has happened for as long as humans have been around. What do we do about it? Well, at least at the Biodiversity Lab and with the Best Bees Company too, and Urban Bee Lab, all the different groups that have helped to found here,
Mm,
we've looked at how if we need to replace a tree in a city, let's do it with a pollinator tree. Let's think about
mhm.
ways that nature can sustainably promote more trees instead of humans having to do it every time.
Right.
So we call this an ecosystem service as a
Mm,
fancy new vocabulary term for a way that nature does the work for us. And we
right.
think about how to design cities, designing the built environment in a way that can promote itself.
Hmm.
Pollinators spread plants. So keeping pollinators as a workforce in mind allows to free us to free ourselves to do other things.
Hmm.
So that's one thing. We've done this with the US federal government. We had a national program for pollinator analysis. We looked at their parking lots and we said, if you put pollinator trees here, this will reduce the temperature. We know so many parts of Africa are very, very hot in the
Yeah.
summertime. We know that green rooftops are 40 degrees cooler in Fahrenheit than their next door non-green rooftop.
40 degrees cooler.
It's,
Apparent.
I mean, it's
Wow.
all the difference. When you go to a green area, you feel
Yeah, you actually
cooler.
do. You do. I mean,
You
literally, just it just much more comfortable. Yeah.
for
40
free.
degrees.
You don't have to pay for air conditioning in the building. Putting a green roof cools the building without any cost. So we need to think differently. It's just a mind shift. And that was the
Yeah.
whole TED ethos. So that was the second TED talk where I was sharing about how we called it honey DNA. When we look at honey from around the world and we see what plants are in it, the
Mm.
bees are telling us what plants they like to go
They
to around
like,
the local
yes.
community.
So
And
you
it
could
tells
grow
us what
more of
it tastes.
those. You could plant more of those types of plants, and you could
Exactly.
get more.
Listen to the bees.
Yes, into the
Yeah.
another
So our
t-shirt
non
merch.
there you go. Listen, we're gonna quit their day job. I'm telling you,
That's
Emma.
definitely.
So when you go to our nonprofit website, it's urbanbeelab.org. You'll see a map of the world, and you can scroll your cursor over any part where we've tested honey, and you can see for free there what plants are in the honey, what that area tastes like.
Right.
And I'll say one African story. One of my favorite mentees, his name is Matthews Dunga. He lives in Malawi, and he runs Honey Products Limited. And he is doing amazing work with his partners where they're sourcing local wood on a sustainable way to create beehives, training thousands of beekeepers around Malawi, now spreading to nearby Zambia, looking at Mozambique, looking at every area there to work with the wood, with the forest in a way that's very sustainable, affordable for job training, building out physical centers for people to create their own beehives, for
Mm.
woodworking, to harvest their own honey. So there's amazing innovation coming out of Africa on this very topic.
And job creation from what you're describing as well. I mean, it's a huge industry anyway, but these are sort of
Job creation.
artisanal, locally based, community economic development projects as well around honey.
Absolutely. Yeah,
Mm.
Matthews is doing great stuff, even with entrepreneurship and helping to show other people in this honey, forestry bee business, how they can create their own business, fashion, creating beekeeping suits. They're not that cute right now.
Yeah,
Right? And so he's always thinking, how do we work with local makers? Go to a dress shop and think, make this cute, or
yeah,
how do we
yeah,
source it locally and more
yeah, yeah.
fashionable? Because that helps more people feel like this is an industry I want to get
They
into,
get into exactly the cool
right?
factor. Yeah, bring the cool
Yeah,
factor
I
back.
was connected to Matthews through a nonprofit called the Global Good Fund that folks should know about because
The
they invest
global,
money.
the global,
Global Good Fund.
global good fund, right?
Global, yes, the Global Good Fund is amazing. So they find social impact entrepreneurs around the world, many in Africa and beyond, and they invest money. They invest with a leadership development coach
Hmm.
for about 3 or 4 months. I call it a business therapist. I don't think I'm
Yeah,
supposed to say that, but you talk to people as an individual, and the
yeah.
ethos is if we invest in you as a person, how's your health? What do we need to do to make you strong? If you're strong, your community and your business and your enterprise
Mm.
will be strong.
Hmm.
And then also an executive mentor, a pairing. And so Matthews Dunga and I were paired. I'm his executive
Oh, I
mentor. It's
see.
just been a total honor, and he graduated from the program last year.
But it's
Yeah.
interesting that you speak. I mean, we've done quite a few of these conversations, and wellness and resilience comes up a lot. Like how we treat the entrepreneur who's already doing well under very difficult circumstances, especially in under-resourced regions in the world. But wellness and resilience and just looking at the holistic picture, not just
Yeah.
how much money did you make today. It's really, really
Yeah.
important for what this for social impact leaders, entrepreneurs trying to solve big problems and even community problems. They really need to. I think we need to really look at how we are funding and resources this kind of
Yeah.
approach to supporting
Yeah.
our emerging.
And
problem
then
solvers. So.
shifting that mindset to abundance,
Mm,
thinking, okay, I have resources, but how do you get resources? How do I look around and see my community as well? You
hmm
know, it's hard enough to do it for oneself,
Yeah,
but it's an audacious thought of abundance. How do I make sure everybody around me is part of that too? And I think that with entrepreneurship, that's a big answer to it. Knowing nobody's coming to save us. You know, nothing has there's no answer to
there is
it.
no magic
We are
wand.
the
There's no, yeah,
answer.
we are the answer.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
And if we have nothing to lose with starting new ideas, you just might get a win. You know, don't
yeah.
hold yourself back. Don't be afraid of feedback or to ask questions.
That's a great note to end the conversation, Noah. Thank you so much for joining. I really appreciate your
I could
time.
talk to you
And yeah,
forever.
we should come to Accra and really do something interesting with everything you're working on. So thank you so much.
I would love to. Thank you for your time.